Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something sick.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
I've been really curious about your motivation for providing. I can understand a little bit, basic motivations of learning and getting to know and practicing and all of that. But I guess maybe a deeper motivation. I think I'm just so surprised that someone would dedicate so much time of their own free will, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of time, so that helps. I live out in the middle of nowhere. I work for myself. I don't have family. I don't have pets. So I can go days without seeing other humans. So,
yeah,
that's part of it. It is something to do, and it's very, very connecting, and I really enjoy it. So
that's good enough reason for me.
When I started, I didn't have any idea that I would be doing it this long or this much. But I'm just responding to people want to do it. And so something's working and it makes me happy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, at the start of any new project or venture or interest, we generally don't, even if we think we know where it's going to go, we generally don't understand fully what kind of life it's going to take on. So, yeah. Well, I'm grateful for it, for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Thanks for letting me know. I don't know. It's hard to know who is out there listening and how many or how it's affecting them, and so that's kind of the idea, is that we're creating this together, and it can serve others in some way, be a gift to them in some way.
Right. Yeah. I think I spoke a little bit in one of my voice notes about how what kind of a role it's played in my life. There is something so effective, and struggle to find the right word for it, because it really just something about hearing other people's sessions and hearing, you as the practitioner sort of feeling out which way to go, feeling out what's going to help them along or help this particular person access a little bit more self energy, or this particular person feel safe in this, whatever it is. And that there's nuances to it, that there's options, that it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. Like this day we're going to take this route. It just really seeped in a way that, reading the textbooks and kind of understanding it from a more theological point of view, it hadn't gotten to that level. And then even my own IFS practitioner noticed a huge difference. Because this is a bit embarrassing, but when I found live IFS, it's pretty much all I did for a week. I'm kind of like you. Like I like to be a bit of a recluse. I live alone. I don't have a partner. I have a dog. He's very independent. And I just got so entranced and just absorbed into it that it's all I wanted to do for like 5 days, 6 days straight was just listen. And the next session that I had with my IFS therapist, she was amazed. She's like, what happened like, this is so different. You're coming to this in such a different way. Yeah. So it had a big impact.
That's so awesome. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
I also listen a lot.
Oh, do you?
So it's for me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if I'm just having a low day, or I'll listen often for very first thing in the morning, and it's kind of inspiring to me to be like, oh yeah, I can do that. That's an option that I have. I can be that way, and I get to do this work. And, sometimes I forget that when I'm having a sick day or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something, maybe it's the self that you and the callers can bring into the calls. But I agree. There's like, I don't know, there's something, I do often find myself turning to it when I'm kind of having a low day or things are just not making sense. That's so much of the world. I feel like for me personally, it's like things don't make sense. So it's like, this is something that I can turn to that is comforting on so many different levels. Yeah, because it's other people talking about things that don't make sense to them either and trying to make sense of them. And, it's, it's really, it's nice. That's a nice place to turn.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that you're listening to recent calls?
Yeah, now I am.
Okay.
When I first started, I think I listened to the first 100 in order.
Whoa.
Yeah. I can go hard on something when I get really into it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then from there, I was interested, my curiosity wanted to follow certain trails of certain people, particular people. So from there, I kind of went rogue, and now I've been listening to them as they have been released.
Cool. Yeah. I need to get back on that. I got a little lazy in the past couple of weeks with publishing, but we'll get some new ones out soon.
Oh no, it's good. I still have a whole archive to catch up on. So
I'm hoping I'm hoping that for most people, they have others they can listen to.
Definitely.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Do you have any questions about the recording process or anything like that?
I feel like I've heard, sort of disclaimers or details enough. So I kind of understand how I understand it, I guess, is that if there's something that I'm uncomfortable with being published, I can let you know. And
that it takes a long time to get through the pipeline anyway, like months.
Right.
So,
yeah. No, I like that. That's good because, months from now, these things will be further along for me personally or in a different place. So it's, Yeah, it takes a bit of pressure off that it's not this, okay, I said some things and then they're just going out into the ethos. Yeah. So no, I feel pretty comfortable with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just checking in to see how parts feel. Excited.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, should we get started? And would you like to start with any minutes of meditation?
We should get started. And one thing I wanted to mention, it's not a question, but more of just a context, is I got to my childhood home yesterday, back east in Rhode Island. So it is, this should be super interesting because, just sat in like my childhood home for the first time in a few months, 6 months probably. I visit quite often. I try to visit twice a year, but it's just interesting to be surrounded by photos of family with those familiar smells and the view outside the window of New England winter. And I live in now and have for a long time, so it should be interesting to see what comes up.
Yes, always interesting. All parts interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do a minute.
Okay, I'll set a timer.
Great.
All right. So, do you have any parts that you'd like to get to know better or change your relationship with?
Boy, do I ever. Yeah.
Great. Okay.
I noticed that when I turned inwards, it felt like Friday when there's 10 minutes left of school, what like in grade school. It felt like that type of energy, where parts are like antsy and itching to get out of their seat and chatty. And I think a lot of parts are extremely excited. I feel a little bit nerdy saying that, but like just very excited to be in this community and talking about IFS. And and then I noticed a part come in that kind of felt like a school teacher. That was a bit like, we shouldn't be this excited. Like, like calm down, calm down. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what came up.
Okay. All right. Thanks for speaking for them. Let them know they're all welcome. And that we can meet any of them.
Yeah. Yeah, they feel pretty polarized. Not sure which one wants. Usually one will kind of be louder than the other, but this kind of feels like they're both kind of tugging.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
So the antsy parts, that's more than one part, right? I mean, well,
I can ask, but
is it like the excitement?
It almost feels like a part that is presenting as a classroom of children, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I don't necessarily get the sense that it is multiple parts because it all seems very similar. I think it's just kind of presenting the image of lots of school children or multiple people being really excited.
Right.
Like a gathering
Okay.
that's excited, but it does feel like a kind of a singular part that is just so excited for IF.
I have lots of those parts.
Cool.
Yeah. And the same also, don't get too excited parts.
Really? Okay.
Of course, yeah. And it's up to you if we're wanting to target those parts as ones specifically to get to know, or if this is more of acknowledging them and asking them for space so that we can see who else wants your attention.
Yeah. Just you pointing that out is helpful because I have a part that often comes up in session that is really efficient and really likes work to be effective and efficient and really holds a high standard, of how I should show up to a session. And normally that part would be like, oh, let's get all this annoying excitement out of the way so that we can be serious and focused. And maybe that's the school teacher, but yeah. I feel like I feel very comfortable going towards the excited part or the school teacher part. I don't feel like they're nuisances in the way to get to a deeper thing. I feel like, oh, it's present. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And sorry, I just picking up on the word deeper, anything that's up for you, any part that you want to get to know better, we can get to know. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm curious about the school teacher part or the part that says we shouldn't be this excited because I guess because I don't really understand why. I'm like, what's the problem? Like, what do you mean? Like that's a great thing to get excited about. What's the problem?
Okay. All right. How do you notice that part in your body?
Well, right now it's just giving me visual images, but I'm trying to settle into my body a little bit, which, yeah, I'm all like effervescent and bubbly right now. Yeah. Sorry.
And that's
the excited
kind of the
part.
antithesis of her. Sure.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. That's the excited part is making me feel all
right. And she's the one saying sorry, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. All welcome. Yeah. So we're looking for the feeling that don't be so excited.
Yeah, I'm feeling it in my hands. Like a finger, wagging, like a no. Yeah, I'm feeling it in my hands.
Okay. And how do you feel towards that part?
Curious and also like you're being kind of a party pooper. Yeah, there's a part that's like, why are you raining on our parade?
Yeah. Okay. So you want to check in with that part? The one that says, why are you raining on our parade? Just let it know you see it.
Mm-hmm.
And see what
Yeah.
it needs from you.
He kind of gave me the go ahead, like thanks for hearing me. That's what I wanted to say. And yeah, go find out. Go find out why they're being a party pooper.
Okay. Yeah, we'll find out whatever we can.
Mm.
Okay. So you're feeling curious about the school teacher part, the don't be so excited part.
Yeah, and I also understand. I understand why it would. I understand why this part would want to reel it in because, yeah, I think this part feels like when we get too carried away, we make a fool of ourselves, or we overwhelm people with how excited we are, or how, yeah, how much, that it's too much. So I can understand why it wants to reel it in.
Okay. And do you feel like there's a connection with the part now, or are these?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so you can check that out with it. See if you are already understanding it right, or if there's more that it wants you to know.
Yeah. Use the word embarrassing. Like, I don't want you to be
Okay.
embarrassing.
Yeah. Okay.
I get that.
And so the part is aware of you there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And very aware of you there.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I
Here
think
I
that's
am.
a part of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it has concerns about being embarrassing with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I really would like to get to know this part in whatever way it shows up, and any parts. So, excited parts or whatever else. I'm really into getting to know.
Yeah. And you really like IFS too. So
I really like IFS a lot.
this is a safe place to be nerdy about IFS.
Yeah, I hope so. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this part, yeah, it's letting me know that we're more effective when we're calmer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's concerned with efficiency and effective, efficacy.
Okay. I'm sure that's true in some situations. I don't know that will be true in our work together.
Yeah.
But I think I get it.
Yeah, I get it that it's been this part's experience for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, there's not that many people. This is from the part. There's not that many like people and places that we can kind of let our excited parts play with and run with. So
Right. Yeah. Do you want to stay with this part and learn more about its experience and its where all that comes from and
yeah, I think so.
what we can do for it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you could ask it to show you some of those times when it felt like it really had to step up because the excited parts were bringing in the embarrassment or whatever else.
Mm-hmm. I just got a really funny memory.
And none of it needs to be shared with me. So if they are embarrassing memories, according to this part, it can be between the two of you.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she likes that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I feel comfortable. This is it's funny that initially it was a school teacher dynamic because I just got a specific memory of me in school. I got really worked up about a topic that I felt really passionate about, and I got in trouble for it. Which was really out of character because I was so painfully shy and quiet that I never made a disturbance ever. But it was history, and I like history, and I was excited, so I jumped up on my desk and I stated my case, and I got in really big trouble.
Okay. How's it feel for the part to remind you about that time and just to revisit that with the part and with me now?
It's glad that I'm seeing it, and it's kind of saying like, this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. This what the part saying like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You can't, people don't take you seriously when you behave like that.
Yeah. Well, worse than not taking you seriously, right?
Right. You get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You get banished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to call attention to what might be another part.
Yeah.
Which is the laughter when you say banished, for example.
Mm-hmm. I've been noticing that too, and wondering if that was the excited parts that are. I didn't really ask them for space. So they've kind of been, I think they're kind of like giggly school children. That's what it feels like.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And they kind of like the bad behavior of that memory.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
They're into it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Good
so
catch.
Not being taken seriously, being banished. And that's the perfect example of how your excited parts can get in the way or disturb things, make it less efficient, cause embarrassment.
Yeah, which I'm getting the sense that what it comes down to, or one of the things it comes down to for this part, is like really wanting people to understand, other people to understand us, me, and this part saying when you behave in those type of ways, people don't understand us. They might miss the point. They might miss the connection. They might miss the intention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it makes sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you show that part appreciation for caring about all of that and looking out for the system in those ways?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm holding my own hand because it kind of showed up in the hand. So I'm just kind of giving it some love that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has a lot of reason to feel the way it feels.
Yeah.
Gosh, this is a little embarrassing, but
Don't have to share it.
I kind of do, only because it'll help me get past it.
Okay, just make sure that you have
Yeah,
that these parts are on board with
it's
that.
fine. It's not like it's not that bad, but it's just I can, as I'm showing this part, appreciation and understanding, it's receiving it, but it's also, oh, sorry, that's my dog. It's also concerned with how you are perceiving. Like, it's basically saying, I get that you get it, but does he get it?
Yeah. Very important question. So I can answer that or see what I can reflect back about it.
Yeah, because I answered and said, yeah, I think he does, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you have parts that get excited about IFS, get excited about guessing lots of things, history.
Mm.
And sometimes your excitement, the excited parts show up. They show up, they compel you to do something out of the usual, like jump up on your desk or just let them play.
Mm-hmm.
And that has brought on some painful consequences.
Mm-hmm.
It's brought on not being taken seriously,
Yeah.
not being efficient in your work, having others not understand you, embarrassment, and banishment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, disconnection. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is hugely important to you and your parts. And this is something that's been going on at least since sometime in childhood. You've had these excited parts that this other part has felt like it needs to manage or remind you about, look out for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very much accurate.
Okay. That all makes a lot of sense to me. And I believe I have mirroring parts. So I see that in my own system.
Yeah.
It also all sounds very normal, and I imagine everyone has them to some degree. I hope that doesn't sound dismissive or like
No.
your parts aren't unique, but
No, not at all.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I think
And I am always checking my own excitement about IFS and how much of it is I should share.
yeah, so you don't overwhelm or lose the connection with whoever you're or like the effectiveness of your message and
right. I also want to let the part know that as far as efficiency in our work, for example, I have some responsibility, or I want to have some responsibility for that. So, I would like to kind of be able to guide the process to a degree and give you and your parts the freedom to show up however they want, however they are, because I think that actually is the most efficient.
yeah, I agree.
It's when we're kind of hiding parts that the work is inefficient.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been a
Mm-hmm.
big realization recently, is letting go of the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can definitely feel my whole system calm as you're saying all of that.
Mm-hmm. Great. And I'm not in any hurry to get to know the excited parts compared to this part.
Right.
I imagine we could keep talking with this part over 3 hours and keep learning all kinds of valuable information from it, and deepening your relationship with it.
Yeah, I appreciate how I've been working with a lot of parts recently that are much harder to communicate with, and I appreciate right now how easy it is to hear this part and what it's trying to show me and tell me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So does it feel like I get it?
Yes.
You want to give me a score on that if it's not a
100.
Yes, no?
Set 100.
Okay. Woohoo. Yeah.
Gold star.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was concerned if one, that you get it, and two, that you're not scared off or something, which that part's harder for me to understand, but I'm hearing it. Like, what do you mean scared off? This is nothing. But that's okay. This part is particularly concerned about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. And sometimes I do have scared parts. Sometimes people show up with a lot of energy and a lot of parts, and my scared parts do get activated. So
sure,
it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, we are humans.
But I do have this goal, and I do have, if let's say I did have scared parts come up, and I had trouble like managing them, I wouldn't want to not talk to you again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I would take that as part of the process, and I would probably talk to you about it, and then like I would be listening back to the call and seeing what I can do differently, and then I would want to see how we could address that together. So
yeah, I think they can often be trailheads.
Right.
When we're working with somebody and they've brought in up a scared part or an uncomfortable part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, as happy as I would be to provide you with a trailhead, I'm not in any rush.
Doing great. I think you're doing great.
Yeah.
Do you want to stay with this part, learn a little more about it?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. What would it rather be doing with its energy if it didn't have to work so hard in this way?
It doesn't believe that it wouldn't have to work this hard. I can tell that right away. It's like just kind of dismissed that as like, that's hilarious. That, yeah, which I can understand.
Right.
I think it's right that to some degree in society, we will have to have a part in this role, and that makes sense. And I can see why it wouldn't give up the role completely.
Or why it isn't safe to let your excited parts run free in every relationship.
Exactly.
Totally.
Yeah. So I'm just explaining, I'm not asking it to give up the role completely, but what if it had more safe spaces to relax in, where it didn't have to be so active.
Or what if self and the excited parts had a relationship so that self could,
Mm-hmm.
be the one that they're going to?
Oh, that's such a nice compliment. This part just, oh, that was nice. This part just said that it has seen me be a really good regulator recently.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's nice that it's witnessed that.
Yeah. Or if self could go to parts that feel banished or embarrassed so that the excited parts could play and the result from whoever's dirty looks isn't triggering embarrassment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that feels very freeing.
Yeah. And what would this part do with that freedom?
Learn
Mm-hmm.
and teach.
Yeah.
Instead of having to wrestle the school children or contain the school children, it could just go back to its original role.
Right.
Learning and teaching and sharing knowledge.
Nice. Yeah, so that's what it cares about, is the learning and teaching, which does have some process and some efficiency required.
Yeah, it really appreciates a clear message.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Being able to speak well about something, be knowledgeable, and help other people understand or help them learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think it's really good at those things.
Yes. Yeah. Do you want to ask it how old it thinks you are?
It's at 7.
Okay. Was it the 7-year-old who jumped on the desk?
No. I was probably 15.
Mm-hmm.
I think 7 is probably around the time that I was like more fully immersed in public school.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I spoke a word to anybody for the first year of school, which was probably 6. I think I was pretty much mute. So I think at 7, maybe I found a little voice once or twice and maybe regretted it.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm just checking with the part because I realized that was kind of like a thinking part, making sense of it. So I'm just checking in.
Yeah.
In the hands.
Mm-hmm. We're just asking it how old it thinks you are. So we don't have to necessarily go to or learn more about this 7-year-old part now, unless you want to.
Sometimes sometimes protectors are so familiar with an exile that I forget that they aren't the exile. I hope that makes sense. Like,
yes.
Yeah. Because this protector, to me, it almost feels like they've been speaking for that 7-year-old this whole time. So sometimes my system gets confused when we're like, oh, do we go to the 7-year-old? And I was like, isn't that who we've been talking to? And I'm like, oh, wait, no, yeah, this protector is also there at that time, but is speaking for another part. Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean. They're kind of inseparable.
Yeah.
Is there any more that you're learning about that time that you want to share?
It hasn't. I think I'm still very much with the school teacher.
Okay.
It almost kind of feels like, oh, that's so interesting. Okay, stay with me here for a second. It kind of feels like this protector, the school teacher, like one of the sort of protective mechanisms that it uses to sort of stay in front of the exile or block the exile is sort of like that, pretending that it is it, if that makes sense. Pretending like, no, the road ends here. What do you mean there's nothing deeper? Like, it's just here. That's it. You reach the end. Nothing to see here, sort of thing. Yeah.
And how do you respond to that, or what comes up in you when you notice that?
Amusement, because it's clever and kind of very much something like a 7-year-old would do. You know, where they kind of like put their hands over their eyes and it's like, you can't see me here. You know,
right.
Whatever. Okay. Yeah, kind of kid-like illusions. Yeah.
Yeah. And it would also make sense for this part as a protector to, but that sounds in itself like it's protective of whatever is back there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's doing its job.
Do you want to update it with your real age?
That was an unexpected reaction. I got excited and was like, 7 versus 34. Oh, we have way more access to cool stuff at 34. We can learn all sorts of stuff. We don't even need somebody to drive us to the library. Like,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. And does this part have any requests of you? What does it want you to do for it or for other parts?
I think it's extremely interested in what you were saying about getting the exile to a point where sideways glances and comments and feeling alienated wouldn't be so difficult. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. When I was thinking about the different ways forward, to me, that's kind of, I'll use the word deepest. That's going to the deeper kind of painful feelings and working with them. The other ways are also good to do, just working with this protector, or some of those other concerns that it had.
Yeah, it makes sense because this part is so loves efficiency and efficacy. It makes sense that it's like, let's not put more band-aids on it, or let's not go on these, let's go right to the source, and it makes sense why this part would be attracted to that notion of healing something at the root.
Yeah. Yep. And again, I'd suggest that we take all the routes. Work with this part, work with the excited parts, because that was the first thing that it had mentioned was, being that regulator with the excited parts. And then there's those other parts that I'm assuming are exiles. The ones that get hurt, the ones that are painfully shy, or are just whatever we'll find out about them.
Feeling disconnected. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just asking this school teacher part if there's anything else that it needs while I'm here with it. Just brought my attention to the fact that I'm still holding my own hand, and that it likes that. I think it likes the presence.
Nice.
I said you're doing good work.
Yeah. And our conversation was efficient after all.
Yeah, that's probably why it's so pleased. Yeah. It feels pretty safe. Feels safe with me.
Awesome. Okay. Looks like we've already talked for about an hour. So I'm not going to suggest that we go to a bunch of other parts, although we can send them thanks and let them know that we can get to them.
Yeah.
Any parts have any concerns, questions, or requests of me?
Not that I can really make sense of, but
Okay.
This happens for every session, and I've been working on it a little bit in my own. But there's a part that has a really difficult time with endings, and it's just active anytime that something is coming to a close. That yeah.
Okay.
So it's coming up a little right now.
Okay. Thank you for speaking for it. I'm not in a particular hurry to jump off the call. So if you'd like, we can spend a moment with it.
Yeah.
Would that feel okay?
Yes. There's a lot of parts that are embarrassed by this particular exile. And it's progress that I've even just admitted that to you.
Yeah.
Because I would never admit to needing anything from anybody.
Okay.
So it is, yeah.
I just want to let you know that you don't have to share anything with me. And if it feels right, just to having acknowledged it and just to sit with it for a moment, you can do that. So I'm not asking that anything be shared.
Yeah. I know.
I also want to offer you that you can also text me. You know, if stuff comes up in the future and if there's something you don't feel comfortable saying in the moment on a call, you can text me on Discord.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm just letting this part that doesn't like endings. I'm letting it know that I can understand. And
yeah, me too.
Instead of just being embarrassed about how it's feeling, that I can really understand why that's difficult. And
definitely,
I know what I did on a recent call was I offered that part. Actually, it's funny, I didn't even offer this part, volunteered to kind of step out of the room in a sense, because it was because the notice came up of like, all right, we've got 15 minutes left or whatever it was, and this part was like, hey, I really don't like endings, so I'm going to just stay over here for a little while. And I was like, that's great, that's super smart. Good job.
Okay. Yeah, and we could find creative ways to do ours also. You almost never hear me tell someone we have 15 minutes left, because I almost never have a hard ending.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Time for a call, which can be a challenge, and and I have plenty of my own parts come up around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe this is a trailhead for us both, an opportunity to figure out at least what could work for us.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that in calls. Yep. Wow, he's still going. Or like, wow, this is it's very rare that a practitioner actually means it when they say I'm not in a rush, or forget practitioner, like literally anybody, right? Like
right.
Most of us just kind of say stuff like that. I'm not in a rush. Oh no, please go on. kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then actually it's like, but in 3 minutes time, you're not going to have my
Right.
attention and I'm going to be distracted or whatever it is.
I have 10 other things on my to-do list today. I just would rather be doing this. So,
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, if it has any requests or any ideas, or if we want to brainstorm on that, come up with ideas for later.
I think it's kind of a matter of consistency, I've noticed. And I haven't found any, not to say that there isn't any, because I'm sure that there are, but I haven't found any creative shortcuts or solutions other than time and consistency with the person. And before that happens, I think there's always going to be a part or parts that are like, yeah, they're going to leave. They're going to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So knowing that there will be consistent interactions would help this part.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah. And you and I haven't discussed having more than one call. So
Right.
Okay. Well, I would love to, if you'd like to keep working with me.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. And we can talk more about what kind of consistency or regularity that would be.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, it ends up being like once every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely open to that. There's parts that are concerned for you.
For me and my calendar.
Yeah, that wanna come in and take things off your plate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been working really well for me. I appreciate the concern, but I've been pretty committed to doing one call a day and almost never violate that rule.
That's incredible.
Rule for myself. Yeah. And a lot of times I'll I'll have these kind of days off. I'll give myself a break. And oftentimes I'm like, oh, I wish I did IFS call today. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So even those empty dates on the calendar, sometimes I'm happy to fill them.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I feel like this has calmed the part. Yeah. It likes plans for the future. Definitely.
Great. Okay. I will reach out to you about that probably within the next day or less.
Yeah, take your time.
Okay. Anything else? Any other parts, concerns, questions? Anything at all?
Really grateful for your time.
Yeah, me too. Grateful for yours. Thank you.
Yeah. Really nice to be on this side of things. Different from being a listener, going into a more of an active participant. It's really nice.
Yeah. And I'll send you the call and then you get to be a listener caller.
Oh God. Parts are mortified.
Yeah.
No, that'll be great. That's awesome. I've been thinking about recording my own sessions. Actually, since it was something that you said that sparked this, I think it was a discussion on Discord, and you mentioned something about recording dreams right when you wake up.
Yes.
And I have a really hard time remembering dreams. So I was thinking about getting some type of voice recorder. And then I was thinking of all the other things I could use that for, and how, it would be interesting. I could record my own IFS sessions, either when I'm a client or when I'm a practitioner. And
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
I record my solo work that I do every day.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I do it in journal form right now. I'm a big writer, so I journal everything IFS related or session related, or anything that kind of pops up or comes in during a check-in or anything. But I think it would be, how sometimes your hand can't keep up with how fast you're
and there's just the whole transliteration or whatever of putting it in logical sequence of words compared to just blabbing, and especially when you have 2 and 3 parts coming up at the same time. I definitely recommend at least trying it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like the stream of consciousness, especially with my kind of school teacher parts, or those academic parts that are very concerned with grammar and things like that. I'm like, I catch myself getting distracted as I'm journaling, because I'm like, well, that's a carry-on sentence, or that's I'm like, okay, that's not where we're going right now. So I think it could be...
I have the same parts.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so thanks for that suggestion. I'm definitely going to implement it and get more used to hearing my own voice.
Cool.
Was that a process for you to get comfortable with?
Yeah, I think so. And I don't know, I could say a lot about that. I've been recording myself as a singer and musician for 20 years. So there was already that process. And then I also, part of me wants to tell the story about having listened back to live IFS so much and learning so much about my own voice, and that has been a way that I actually diagnosed and cured kind of a chronic ailment of mine, because I was like,
oh wow,
why do I sound different on these days? Why is my voice like that? And that's one of the many gifts of live IFS to me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you could kind of then recognize that as a part. Yeah. That's fascinating. I'm super interested in the inflection changes and cadence changes and all of that come along with different parts of us, and why or how they're more prominent in certain people than others. Or I noticed that in your calls in live IFS. Some callers you can just hear it so obviously. Oh, they've switched into that part again.
Right. And I never do video, because that would be too much information, I think, for my system. Yeah. Because then I'm also like looking at how clean the room is. Everything else going on. Not to mention all the cues on their face. Anyway.
Yeah, or what is happening in your own little camera part and what's going on. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, there's my current practitioner that I work with, she only does video because she says there's so many tells and cues and things to look for that she doesn't feel comfortable just doing voice. She wants to see, if a client has started to get emotional or whatever it is, that she can see their facial expressions.
Pros and cons.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah. No,
most people say that. Most practitioners would say the same.
Yeah, but that's, as somebody that's kind of just playing around with and more seriously moving towards a career in that direction, I really appreciate the different points of view on that.
Yeah. Yeah, and next we'll be doing it in VR metaverse, so you can learn that too.
Whoa, crazy. Yeah. Well, thank you, James, so much. It was awesome to talk to you.
You too. I'll send you another link and we can do it again.
All right. Till then, take care.
Have a nice day. Okay, bye.
You too. Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.